Good evening. I am going to make sure that everything's working before we get started and let you guys jump on here. I know if you saw my post in the group, the week's been a wild ride. So I hope that you are doing well, however your week is going. I know there's some interesting astrology things going on, and the themes that I just have briefly listened to have been pretty accurate in my life. So I'm really appreciating my support system and the people that I work with to allow me some assistance in being able to roll through the adversity with grace and ease. So hopefully this energy alignment will do some of the same for you here this evening. I did want to go back to something that I kind of forgot to talk about the last time I was live, and I told you guys I would. So I apologize for that. I was so excited about what we were talking about that I just moved beyond it. And I wanted to give you a tool that will help strengthen your energy field. So I used to use this a lot when I was newer in my energy journey, if you wanted to call it that, or spiritual journey. And before I had done a lot of personal healing, because I was so sensitive to the energy of other people. So I really like to use it when I was in crowded places, on airplanes, in concerts. It's pretty um, subtle. That's not the best word for it, but you can do it. Not too many people are going to look at you like you're a crazy weirdo. So it is actually as simple as tapping on your sternum, just right on that bone. And I think there are some people who call it a thymus tap, but if you tap here, soothes you, calms you, strengthens the energy field around you so you don't notice people and what they might be doing or their energies nearly as much. So it's a fabulous, easy tool to use. I mean, I don't know, people might think you have heartburn or something. And it brings relief. So those are always the best. Hey, Sammy Joe, thanks for jumping on. Um, Aside from that, I'm really not here to talk about any cognitive topics this evening. I wanted to just do any energy alignments for anyone who hopped on and wanted to, align their energy, maybe struggling with something. You want to turn some negative thoughts to positive, want assistance with anything that's rocking and rolling in your world. So if you do, you can drop a comment in the chat and um, I will tune in and do a little freshening up in your energy field. Hi Chelsea, it's great to see you on here this evening. Thank you for joining. Otherwise, I will just start with, hey Lex, I will just start with just general connections and general things. So anyone who's watching even on replay, this will work the same regardless if you are here with me right now or if you're watching the recording. And all you have to do is simply breathe. The breathing will shift the energy, the crystals that have been holding the energy patterns in place. And so simply breathe, and you'll be amazed at how it will calm you. Your thinking, if you've had resistive thoughts, will start to fade away. It just really depends specifically on what someone is wanting to address. So the general work that you receive here this evening will be a little bit different for everyone depending upon what you have going on. Hi, Joni. Good evening. So go ahead and take a few deep breaths. I'm just going to get all of the energy systems flowing. For everyone on this call and anyone watching on replay, we're going to connect and ground to both heaven and earth. Just bring your chakras into alignment as well. Releasing any energy from the aura that is not yours. And bringing in light of truth and allowing your connection to source or whatever that is for you to be clear and bright and bold. So Chelsea, you're trying to get your business going, dealing with limiting beliefs with whether I deserve the freedom I'm envisioning in my life. Yeah, worthy and deserving. That comes up with a lot of people for business. It comes up around money blocks. It comes up around the thinking that, especially depending upon the household, the culture you were raised in, being here in the Midwest, there's a lot of farming communities, and with farmers, there's virtue and valor in hard work, but not just farmers. A lot of people get raised with that mindset. So we feel like we have to work really, really hard to get something in return. And if we're not working hard, we don't deserve success or the freedom. So I can completely understand where you're coming from, Chelsea. I've worked through a lot of this also myself. So go ahead and take some breaths and we'll see what we can work through here with just a little alignment to give you some space to welcome in that vision that you hold for yourself and bring that from spiritual into the physical. So we're going to start with releasing. I just want you to breathe. We don't need to know all of the things. You just trust in the intelligence of the energy. And there are 5 things that you're going to be releasing as you breathe, that the energy is going to dissolve with breath and spirit. That's keeping you bound and locked into, playing small, if you will, right? Instead of stepping out boldly. Because you have some amazing gifts to share with people, and people are left in a better place getting to experience. So that is certainly something we want out there shared boldly. Go ahead and breathe for me, and we're going to integrate some plates. I feel like 5 is your number tonight. I'm not sure what that means, but we're also going to clear 5 of these plates. And that's just looking at, from an NLP standpoint, the parts of ourselves that we lose along the way when we deny truly who we are. So we want to collect those parts back so we can be a whole person. And that's really what that is going to be doing. And then any pain or grief or doubt, worry, concern, anything that those parts are carrying as they integrate is going to be released as well with the breathing, Chelsea. And then continue to breathe as you are going to cleanse out just some adversarial type energy, energy that doesn't want us moving forward. There's the stagnant energy and then the growth energy. And we can sometimes get bogged down in that stagnant energy. So just breathe through and release the anchor, if you want a visual analogy, just that anchor energy that just pulls you down and weighs you down, makes things hard when they should be easy, pulls you out of flow, trips you up, makes you jump over a hurdle, all those distractions. And we're just going to connect you to your ideal clients, Chelsea, as well. And we're going to connect you to technology. That seems to be coming through as well. So, however, you can leverage technology that maybe you have not been, or if technology hasn't been working very well for you, or exploring that, if it's something you haven't done, we're going to connect you to all of the technology so you can leverage that. There's so much freedom in technology that having that in your toolkit will certainly help. All right, and then we're just going to allow, accept, and receive light and truth and freedom, love and forgiveness, and release from all layers and levels, all negative thoughts and emotions and feelings that have come up. Oh, soulmate clients. Yes, I love that saying. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, get to exploring technology. It'll really help, especially being able to do recordings for people that comes through. So taking away the necessity to meet with them face to face, which will give you more freedom in your schedule, your availability. So you could provide some of your services through a recording and send people the recording. Um, there's lots of different things that you can do with technology. So definitely connecting to that, exploring it and utilizing it, leveraging it. All right. Is there anything else from anyone else? Let me check the comments and make sure I'm not missing anything. And Chelsea, just a quick check into how do you feel? You feel content, centered, at ease? All right. So let me just tune in for a second and I will do just a little bit more alignment for just the general, the group, anyone that watches on replay, all of you that are currently on here. Um, so I am taking to timeline. So we want to work all of your timeline for whatever strife, hardship, challenge that you have that's weighing on your heart. We're just going to tune in for everyone because I know there have been so many challenges coming up for people this week across the board. And this is starting for most people around the age of 2. So go ahead and take some breaths and we are just going to clear your timeline from age 2 up to present. I feel like there's a lot of struggle that's wanting to release right now, that struggle energy where things have to be hard or we have to work really hard or things don't just fall into place. And instead of seeing that as a redirection, we continue to force our will or our outcome, what we're wanting. So we also want to release our outcomes so that we can settle into the flow. So take some deep breaths on that. And then we're also going to release, these energetic hooks that we pick up as we go along, especially the ones that come from family and family dynamics, our the beliefs we pick up from family, and the way that we feel like we have to be so loyal to our family, and we run these unconscious loyalty binds that we want to stick to what we've had, what we know, make our families happy. So we want to just release any energetic hooks that are keeping you caught up in the struggle or hardship, whether that's relationship, whether it's work, whether it's just with personal growth, self-acceptance, stepping into your power. There's lots of big concepts are coming through in general themes. So we want to connect you to your worth. I am worthy and deserving of grace and ease. I am worthy and deserving of being in flow. I'm worthy and deserving of the relationship I want. I'm worthy and deserving of the career I want. I'm worthy and deserving of the freedom I want. I'm worthy and deserving of support. Just whatever that comes through for you with where you're at currently, fill in the blank and take some breaths so that all the interference on it can release. Shannon, you're never late. You're always on time. And I appreciate seeing you on here this evening. So thanks for joining us. I was just doing a little group work, and then I'm also kind of bouncing back and forth doing any individual alignments for anyone. So if there's anything that you feel like you've been challenged with this week, you can drop a comment in and I will get to you. So Lex, you're working on clearing clutter, moving through life with grace and ease. Perfect. So hopefully some of that cleared some space for you internally, because of course our outside reflects our inside. You want to remove energy around the work has to be hard. I didn't even read your comment. Okay, so tell me how you're feeling now. And is there any additional head talk that's coming up for you specifically when you think about those things, or you hear me reading that back to you, that you feel like specifically there's still some sort of block, resistance, limitation? And if there is, what specifically are you thinking? I know the comments are delayed, so if you're still on here, Alexis, go ahead and comment. And if not, I will move on to Joni. And Joni, before I get started, I do want to clarify. So drop in the comments too. Your comment is about wanting to stay focused. You're struggling with wanting to stay focused. So are you struggling with your motivation to be focused, or you're trying to focus and you can't? Because there's a difference between wanting to and then really actually putting effort to be focused and getting pulled away from it. So right after I asked the first question, your audio stopped working. Perfect. All right. So basically, hopefully your audio is working. If not, you can try to read my lips. But I was just curious, Alexis, when you tune in, if there's anything still coming up for you specifically, head talk wise, where you feel like you are still in that mindset that things have to be hard. Joni, you're feeling good and balanced. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Sometimes just the general, I mean, energy is so brilliant, right? And that's the greatest thing about these little simple alignments is if we just are open to allow and accept and receive, literally it's that simple. The energy is so intelligent. It knows what we need and it knows where to go. And unless we're really attached to hanging on to whatever anchor or stuff is pulling us down, then it's as simple as just saying, okay, whatever general little tune up I need, I'm here for, I'm open to it, and it just happens. So that is awesome. So you feel the mindset in your gut, and you're learning that you carry others' energy in your gut. Okay, so let's see what we can do for that, because we don't, I mean, it's not ideal to carry other people's energy around with us. So, Lex, we are going to go to generational. So this is pretty old on your mom's side, 92 generations ago. There's a lot wrapped up in that mindset of things being hard, of carrying others' I mean, when we carry other people's energy or burdens, or however that translates for you specifically, that makes life hard. We're taking on other stuff that isn't even ours and carrying it around. It's like carrying suitcases around with you wherever you go. And eventually it wears you down, you know, the fatigue and the burnout that comes with that. So go ahead and breathe and allow that generational. Is there anything else we need to know? Just allow that to clear so that you don't have to repeat the history. You don't have to stay in that same pattern as your ancestors. You can free your ancestors and yourself from that. So we're just going to do a few affirmations. So breathe, and anything that is interfering on these affirmations will clear out. So I am free to be me. I am free to break the mold of my family. I trust in others to resolve their own stuff. We're just going to say stuff, whatever it is. Because sometimes we subconsciously will want to help. And then other times, too, depending on who it is and how much we care and love about them, if we feel like maybe I have more tools than them, or maybe I'm in a better space than them, then we feel like we're doing them a favor and helping or protecting. But no need. So let's release that. Then we also need to release control, the outcome, will. So go ahead and breathe through those. And whether that's your own or some of the stuff, it doesn't even matter. If it's your own or stuff that you're carrying from other people, just take some deep breaths and release all of that, and then allow light to fill in that space that we're creating, truth and divine guidance, or divine strength, power, energy, whatever that is to you. I never want to drive that bus for other people. So is there anything else? That looks like everything that is coming up for this little tune-up, Lex. Is there anything else that comes up for you mentally or energetically that you feel like is really stuck? And then just, I did it earlier, but I like to do it at the end of everything. But sometimes if we don't do it, there is like a little stagnant energy there. So just releasing all layers, all levels, from every level of your aura, every level of your being, every energetic body, all negative thoughts, emotions, feelings, and then filling in with that healthy, healing light. You're welcome, Joni. I hope your last 3 weeks of tax season go really, really quickly and smoothly. You're getting so close. I always feel like I have to cheerlead at the end of tax season because it is just such a grind and a haul. Um, so yeah, let me see what else. I'm free to break the mold in my family, right? That is powerful. All right, let me go back because I'm a little behind on the comments. Yeah, Sammy Joe, thanks for dropping that in. Boundaries for sure are always a portion when we're taking on other people's energy 100%. And I know you dial that in more specifically of the specific boundary. That is great advice and something more to work with or look at. Yes, I know, right? So, Joni, if you're still on, quickly let's do a couple affirmations around time because in this tax season grind, right, we feel like we don't have any time. You are working like crazy. And so taking the time for yourself, that feels selfish and impossible, right? So we want time to expand. So take some breaths, and we're just going to do a few affirmations with time. Time works for me. Time expands. I can get more done in less time. And I also always like feel Archangel Metatron. Anytime I talk about time, Archangel Metatron is the archangel of time in itself, and he's also known for having a cube. And I think there's a more technical name. And if anyone knows what that is, I would love for you to drop it in the link because I'm drawing a blank. But putting your angels on stuff is a really powerful way to get things done without using your time or energy. And so even if I'm meeting someone and I'm running late, I will just ask Archangel Metatron to get me there on time or like make the timing right because maybe the other person is running late. Or maybe I can get all green lights. So when it would normally take me 2 or 3 minutes longer to get there, I get there quicker. So also when you feel like you're in that time crunch, Archangel Michael is a great energy to call upon to bring in some more time, whatever that looks like. It may not necessarily mean that you get 25 hours in the day. Let's be realistic. But you will be able to get more done in less time. Sammy Joe, what you find so amazing about these alignments are even when they are for someone else, if the message resonates, we can all benefit from the individual alignments. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for dropping that too. I just always talk about relying on, this was a big thing I learned from this training too, is relying on the intelligence of the energy. I am not smarter than it. And so, like I said earlier, if we're just in that place to accept and receive, it doesn't have to be the exact same thing that you have coming up in your life. The energy is still going to come in and create space and some freedom and make things easier and smoother. All right, Lex, this all makes so much sense. Every time I think about this, need to suffer to be enough. I picture my mom and grandpa. I thought it was just what they taught me. Oh, it's cool. That is so awesome. I'm glad that resonated so much. I think of them as the leaders. I break the mold and lead us into grace and ease. Yes, exactly. Chelsea, you are welcome. Thank you for joining. Metatron Cube. Is it just the cube? I don't know. Maybe it is just the cube. Thanks. If that's what you know it as too, then I'm probably overthinking it. Oh, well, here's our head point, Sammy Joe, the knower of all things. If you guys don't know, this is literally what I call my friend Sammy Joe, the knower of all things. Legit. So let's get a little lesson here on Metatron. Metatron's cube includes all 5 platonic solids hidden inside, symbolizing the underlying geometric patterns found throughout our universe. It's named after Archangel Metatron, who watches over the flow of energy and creation and provides a connection to the divine. Metatron's cube is balanced and provides a visual focal point for meditation. It can replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Well, isn't that what we're all about? That is perfect and beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. All right, everyone. Well, hopefully this little refresh with your energy powers you through the end of our week. Tomorrow is Friday. I hope you guys have some beautiful things planned for yourself over the weekend. Or not even, like, who needs to wait for the weekend to have some space for ourselves or some relaxation or a little self-care, right? So yes, Shannon, catch the replay. And if there's anything else that you want real quick before I jump off, feel free to drop it in. Otherwise, go back. I did, just the general energy alignments and then just kind of a general struggle type of theme to release as well. So that could fall into place for each individual, however they needed it. I really appreciate you guys being on here. Sunday, Sammy Joe is having a crystal sale, so join her for that. It is the last day of the month. We have had a couple of free resources up that you can snag off of our Thinkific site or the links. There's more than one link, but it's all one site. So Sammy Joe, if you're on and you really, really want to drop those in the comments, that would be amazing. So you guys can still grab those if you want them. They are free, of course, and they will really help you explore your relationships and strengthen your relationships. Of course, always starting with our relationship with self. Also coming up next week, there's a lot of things on the horizon for April, honestly. So stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled for emails and posts on social media. But next Thursday is World Health Day. And in honor of World Health Day, I'm hosting a free workshop where you guys can grab your blood labs or just jump in, even if you don't have labs, and learn how you can determine if there's any hidden infections in your blood labs that I promise you your doctor has probably not taught you unless you are seeing a functional or holistic doctor of some sort. We only get one body, and I'm all about being as comfortable in this body as possible because when our body feels good, our mind feels better, our emotions are higher, our vibrations higher, and we overall feel much, much better. So those are the things coming up just here in the next week. I believe Sammy Joe is also going to be on Monday, this coming Monday, so you can join her for her Monday motivation. And of course, always check the events. All of our events are in the event tab. And I believe Sammy Joe will also be back next Thursday evening as well. So if you do have any questions for her, I know she is doing the Ask Me Anything segments, shoot them her way and then tune in to get your answers. So again, thank you everyone for joining me here this evening. It's always a blessing to share space with you all.